Well, hello, it's Mrs. Murder here again. I actually made it to the stage. Ah, ha, ha. Um, Please keep in mind, if anyone's watching this other than my son, he asked me to do this and I'm doing it for him, so I'm not a professional criticizer of or authority on criticizing, critiquing books, reviewing books, and this is something we're doing for fun. So if you leave comments, that's fine, but just keep that in mind. I promised you that I would review the next Jan Van Willem and Jan Willem van de Wettering, The Corpse on the Dike, this week, and I have read it, but I haven't decided how to talk about it because it's very bizarre. It's just bizarre. I mean, so maybe I'll put that one off. It's the third book by, and there's the other problem. I would like you to look at these names. Maybe there's one that shows their names. No, it's only on the cover and it's not very clear. Well, you can see it there, right? Okay, G is pronounced H in Dutch. Hipstra and de Heer mystery. So Hipstra and de Heer. But when I've gone out to the website that tells you how to pronounce things, holy mackerel, I can't even begin to figure out what I just don't know how to do it. So I'm going to leave that one for next time, and maybe I can do it tomorrow. But I have wanted to review the second in the Louise Penny books, A Fatal Grace. Oh my gosh. This book is, it's just all of these. Okay, I'm going to be reviewing the series because I like to do series like I did. I've read but haven't kept all the series of a lot of writers, mystery writers, and now that I'm retired, I'm just going to jump into this, and I have to tell you that she has quite a few. Louise Perry has quite a few books. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, of course, I'll only count them up to. Well, maybe that's all there are. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I think there are more than 12. I think there are like 17. But at any rate, these are so enriched by so much detail, crunching on the snow. It's very bizarre to be reading about snowstorms and so icy cold, 30 below, and then we have a fire, and it's so exciting and so much going on. But starting from the beginning and just giving a real brief beginning of this, Gamach, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, is another mystery in Three Pines, like we had last week. And this is in Quebec. And of course, Three Pines doesn't have their own detective, and so they send Gamach to solve this murder of this woman who they have a curling contest on the ice, and she becomes electrocuted, and it's so bizarre they can't figure out what is going on. So Gamach takes one of his inspectors, and his inspector says, "How are we supposed to figure out what's going on here? How do we collect evidence?" And Gamach says, "You need to know this. Everything makes sense. Everything and everybody. We just don't know it yet. So we have to find the sense." So that's where they start, because everything is just, it's crazy. It's been a big festival with curling on the ice, and just how does all this, that's his first clue, and his first instruction. His second instruction is That's lesson 1, and lesson 2 is collect the evidence. Listen. That's it. His inspector, his agent Lemo says, and he says, we listen hard. Does that help? We listen until it hurts. We should tread carefully. I often think we should have tattooed to our hand whatever hand we either shoot or write, and it should say, I might be wrong. And Lemo says, that's a joke, right? Are you advocating that we have self-doubt? And Gamach says, no, sir. And then once he asks him, that's the second, and then once he asks him, do you have a question for me? And he says, Lemo says, no, sir. And Gamach says, number 3, your third lesson, don't ever lie to me. So he wants him to ask a question even if he'll be belittled with the answer. I think we may all know how that feels. At any rate, there are a lot of references in this book to theological references. A Fatal Grace. A Fatal Grace by Louise Penny. I mean, grace in and of itself suggests that there's going to be a lack of grace. So there's grace and there's a lack of grace. But there are also some of the names of the characters. They pick up biblical names, or it is so delightful. It is so beautiful to walk on the crunching snow in the quiet in the middle of the night, even if you're freezing, trying to figure out the clues and where did this come from and where did this go and how are we supposed to proceed from here. Everything in this is a big surprise. It's a surprise all the way up to the end, and it's gripping, and it makes you think a lot. And we have characters from the first book that I reviewed before, and Ruth writes more poems, and some of her poems, they're very, very, you see some clarity in some of her poems when you get it out there, back and up in the hills and up in the woods. Pick it up and read it. I would read the first one first. It does familiarize with the characters because they're all from the town of Three Pines. And I'll have to find out if all of them are in Three Pines. I would imagine they could be. She's brilliant. She's very stimulating in her writing. And she's gotten a lot of awards. And Three Pines Chief Inspector and Armand Gamach is called to investigate. So Quebec winter is not only beautiful, but deadly and has dangerous secrets. You will flip out over this one. So let's pick it all up by next week, and the next book is going to be the next Penny book. Well, I know I've got to do that Corpse on the Dyke. It's so weird. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but The Cruelest Month. The Cruelest Month is her third book. And you will give him your heart, Inspector Gamach, your heart then, if you haven't already. So let me tell you, this is a treat. Ta-ta, Evan.